Wales went from betting on interest rates and foreign currency fluctuations as an option trader to betting on the willingness of people to share their knowledge. That's how Wikipedia in 2001 became one of the most referenced, most used repositories of knowledge on the planet, with more than 1 million articles in English and hundreds of thousands in dozens of other languages. Well, I caught up with Jimmy Wales recently and quizzed him on several aspects of Wikipedia's business model and what's next in the offing. Listen in. Thank you so much for joining us. Truly a pleasure to have you on Brand Equity.
Thank you.
First things first, you run such a successful site in Wikipedia, over 500 million users every month, I believe. And you still stick to your, non-profit model, so to speak. I mean, considering, we've seen successes like Facebook and Twitter. Have you by any chance reconsidered your business model?
No. For Wikipedia, we're very happy as a non-profit. We're supported by the community and people donate money, and that works very well for us. I do have a for-profit company, Wikia, which is advertising-supported wikis. That's doing very well. We're ranked around number 35 on the internet. But for Wikipedia, we have no plans of changing.
You've also stated that the next level of growth for Wikipedia per se would be developing markets.
Yes, absolutely.
What are you doing to ensure that shift happens?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things. So one, we're really investing a lot of effort in making sure that the website functions in all the languages. So we're really interested in keyboard entry methods, which in a lot of languages is a tricky topic. The other thing that we're looking at a lot and we're investing a lot in is mobile, because we know that in the developing world, the next billion people who come online, the vast majority of them are going to come online for the first time on a mobile device, and we want to make sure that experience is as good as it possibly can be.
Okay. Are you partnering with anybody at all, or you're doing it?
Yeah, we're getting better and better at partnering. I mean, one of the major types of partnerships we do at Wikipedia is what we call Wikipedia Zero. So we'll partner with a mobile carrier, particularly in the developing world, and we'll persuade them and beg them and twist their arms and get them to agree that when people access Wikipedia, there'll be no data charges. And that's really great. It's a great initiative for them, because if they're trying to open up a market with people with less money, they're very conservative and cautious about spending too much and getting too much data. And if you provide them with Wikipedia, you're also providing people who really need it some educational resources. So it's a win-win for everybody.
You've stated that Wikipedia's strategic goal is to reach 1 billion users by 2015 and close to 15 million articles, I believe. Are you on track to achieving that objective?
Yes, I think so. I'm not sure we're going to hit the billion by 2015, but at our current growth rate, it's going to be, it'll be very close. That number really depends more on the growth of the internet than on what we can do.
Which languages are you targeting in terms of your priority list?
Basically, what we look for is a mix of things. So we're looking for languages where we feel like we can put in some resources and actually make a huge difference. So India has such a strong IT sector, and so this well-educated group who generally speak English but who also have a passion, for their mother tongue. That's a great one. Arabic is a huge language, but with very small amount of content relative to the number of speakers, but a huge desire for knowledge, a huge opening up is going on through the internet there. So we're very excited about that. The harder ones for us, which we'll get to eventually, but are, for example, some of the smaller languages in Africa. So if you take a language like Zulu, for example, there's a few million speakers, but they mostly aren't online. The ones who are online are just using English. They haven't really, we're just a long way from even getting started.
Do you see Wikipedia's ongoing problem, or with the diminishing number of editors and contributors? Do you think that would be a major obstacle in achieving your strategic objective?
Well, it's important. We've been stable in the number of editors for about 3 years now. It doesn't really go up, doesn't really go down. So we're not too worried about it in some places. We do need to see growth in some languages. For us, it's never going to be about just sheer numbers. We're not going to implement like buttons and little easy ways to participate just to do it. We do want to have a nice on-ramp where it's easier for people to join the community. So we're looking at things like a visual editor, a much more straightforward editing interface like people are used to with a word processor, because we think there are barriers to entry that shouldn't be there now.
Just to get a sense of, what your opinion is of and what advertisers and social platforms and advertising agencies together are attempting to do in the digital space, because it is quite complex, to get to that end user now. What is your sense? Do you think the world is broadly going the right way, or are they too overawed by technology?
I do think that a lot of people who are working in this space make a lot of mistakes. It is a difficult space for people particularly who come from a real broadcast mindset, who simply think, well, if the product's not that great, it just means we have to spend more on marketing. That doesn't work anymore. Ironically enough, just simple word of mouth is much more strong than it ever was before.
True.
Simply because, you used to be able to tell 5 people or 10 people, oh, I bought this thing and it's terrible, or I bought this thing and it's great. Now, everybody, never mind sort of people with thousands of Twitter followers, everybody has 500 friends who they can just post one status update to Facebook. So that means that in advertising, right, I think a lot of times the advertising agencies should go back to their clients and say, actually, you're not ready to spend a lot of money in advertising because your product's terrible. So I just saw this commercial for Microsoft Bing, and it was like a really cool kind of hipster commercial, except that it had no authenticity, because you thought, I know lots of cool hipster kids and they're not using Bing, so if you're trying to trick people into thinking that, it's just not working, right? That's an idea of letting the marketing get ahead of the product. First, make the product cool.
Well, on that note, thank you so much. Truly a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.